Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on digital equipment continuity, co-hosted by Dassault Systems. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us today. From product engineering to manufacturing to service and maintenance, digital equipment continuity provides the accelerated freedom to collaborate, design, and produce at an accelerated rate at any location. Today, we will learn about a unique solution to engineer, produce, and service fast anywhere. So let us all begin the session by formally welcoming our speakers for today, Kevin, John, and Glenn. Welcome, Kevin, John, and Glenn. So before we begin, I would like to give you a brief introduction about our speakers for today. Our first speaker for the webinar, Kevin, is a senior account executive at Wires 3D with over 15 years of experience supporting Dassault Systems industry solutions. Our second speaker for the day is John Tresson, is working with Dassault Systems as a senior manager, sales and consultant, industrial equipment industry. John has been at Dassault Systems since 2006, where he developed businesses in energy and industrial equipment industries, mainly focusing on nuclear and oil and gas industries. In his role as industry consultant, John defines the right strategy to transform businesses with industry solutions among power and fluidic equipment companies. Based in China for 7 years, John was primary sales and consultant for many companies, including engineering, procurement, and construction, operators and design offices. Our third speaker for the webinar today, Glenn Larson, is working with Wires 3D as a senior CATIA NC manufacturing applications engineer. Prior to joining Wires, Glenn spent the last 12 years in the aerospace and automotive industry, specializing in engineering and design parts of the military, NASA, and automotive suppliers. He started out in aerospace field working in the product engineering and eventually became head of engineering of a large defense supplier in the Florida Panhandle. Glenn holds an ASE Master Tech certification in the automotive industry, where he spent his early years rebuilding transmissions. Some of Glenn's most important skills include CATIA design, manufacturing assembly and machine programming, CMM programming, VBA, and database development. So before we start this session for today, I just wanted to inform you all that we want to keep this as an interactive session. So feel free to post your questions in the comment or the questions box below. We will address them towards the end of the session. Without any further ado, let us begin with the knowledge sharing. Over to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Pradnya. Welcome, everyone. And as we go through the equipment digital continuity solution on the platform, just wanted to take you again through the agenda that we have prepared for you today. Next slide. And so we're going to just give you a quick commercial on the Vias company, solution provider as a Dassault partner, an overview on Dassault Systems as a company today. We're going to really cover the industry trends that Jean has prepared, a recording and a play-by-play of working on a project in the platform, and then really speaking to the digital equipment continuity solutions that are available today and the fact that we can deploy this on the cloud and what that would look like. So just a bit on Vias. Next slide. So as a company, Vias is headquartered in Houston, but we serve North America. Also working with offices in Mexico, Canada, and India. We have a core team that covers all of the industries and don't just sell, service, and support the Dassault System solutions. We are an active user in our engineering processes, and we actually manage projects on the platform. Next slide. So when we look at Dassault Systems, next slide. Dassault Systems as a company, it's a global company with over 20,000 people working together with 69 labs on R&D. A lot more is spent on R&D by Dassault Systems than most of the competitors combined. The company itself is very profitable, and when we look at the company's partners, their partners are global, with over 12,000 partners supporting the sales, support, and integration of the Dassault Systems solution. Many of these solutions are now all based on the 3D Experience platform, and with over 270,000 customers and 25 million users, we see this as a game changer, because now we have the 3D Experience platform where all of these customers can take advantage of the business values and engineering capability that Dassault brings to the fore. Next slide. So we talked about the 3D Experience platform. It's one source of the truth. At this point, I'm going to turn it on over to our application engineer, Glenn Larson. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Again, my name is Glenn Larson, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the 3D Experience platform. It's not just a PLM system, and it's not just a CAD design system. So the 3D Experience platform is a complete experience, from the concept of an idea through design and engineering, simulation, all the way through to marketing. And I'm just going to show you a little bit today about two sections of it. And one is the platform itself, and our page and what we can do with our dashboard. And the second session is real quick on what a client is. So because we have the platform itself, and then we also have designers and stuff use an actual client. So without any more delay, I'll get to my little video. And what I'm going to show you here today is, you can see that I've got a dashboard, and we're just going to create a new dashboard. And it's kind of easy to do. All you have to do is start a new dashboard and give it a name. And I'm going to show you a few things you can do with the dashboard. So the first thing that we'll do in a new tab is that we're going to use the 3D drive and the 3D play. So the 3D drive is a drive that is on your computer for the 3D experience, and it's not in the database yet. It's when it's on the drive, it's on your computer. And so you can see here that if we put these side by side, we can make them fit. And you could put 2 or 3 apps in here if you like. Everything is drag and drop, and you can just pull it right over, and you can see you can use a PDF, you can use a drawing, you could use a document, and anything that you can bring up into this drive, you'll be able to view over here. Now you can also just go in there and add something new, and I'm going to add an assembly here, and it adds very quickly, and you can see that from here we can view it, we can measure it, and we could even annotate it. The next thing I'm going to show you is the 3D space. So the 3D space is actually the database for your 3D experience, and you might have different collaborative spaces. As you're going to see here, we have many, and we're going to pick customer testing, and I'm just going to take that and drag it right up to the other tab and put it right in the 3D play, and you can view it from there. And that's out of the database. So it's that quick and easy. So let's suppose that you did simulation, and you wanted to go ahead and view your simulation up here, view your reports, or run simulation from up here. Well, you can do it. You just drag it in and click run. It's going to open up your local station and run it from there. You can also do project planning from up here, or tasks, where in this case, what we'll do is we'll look at the client itself. This 3D experience is role-based, and so you might have a CATIA role, you might have CATIA and Innovia, you might have CATIA and Simulia or Delmia. And the nice thing is that you can really just add new components really easy, from just add new content. Any content you have available you can add, or you can search for it. So we have the 6W tags that allow you to find your search and really just grab anything you can see and just open it. and you can open up multiple things in multiple applications. You can have a Samoya app open the same time in one tab as you have a CATIA app open. So it's very versatile and easy to do. And that's all I had on the platform for today. I do have another segment later on about SolidWorks. And with that, I will hand it over to John. John?
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. So if you can go to next slide. Thank you. So as you can see, we talk more and more about digital continuity, which is basically consistent to a source of data. We also talk about digital transformation that is here to support a company's strategy, but also virtual twin experience. So the virtual twin connects all teams from engineering to manufacturing or from engineering to after sales. And in fact, this is much more than a digital twin that you may have heard, because the 3D experience twin provides the full traceability by maintaining a single source of requirements and managing the history of changes and the decisions behind those changes. So it's much more than digital twin. You can go next. Thank you. So here you can see the industry global trends and drivers more related to industrial equipment. Today, we see 6 of them. So number 1 is to ensure the agility, to make sure that your business has the agility to meet the highly competitive pressure of the customer demand. And more than ever, with pandemic situation or other crisis, economic crisis, we really understand how agility is crucial within the company. The second industry trend is the self-aware connected systems, because today we don't talk only about mechanical, but we talk about mechanical plus electrical plus 3D control system and so on. So basically, we talk more and more about multidisciplinary engineering. So this is why today all the systems are more and more connected. This is also where we make the link with any information of technology that could be applied in the operation and maintenance activities. The third one is specific. This is production of one. So here, let's see that the objective is really to adopt a smart and flexible business environment to somehow develop and deliver personalized products or equipment. So here, basically, we talk about modularization, we talk about configuration approach. The fourth one is equipment as a service. Because when we talk to our customers, we understand that basically many of our customers would like to save what we call the CapEx, the capital expenditure, and to spend more on the OpEx, the operational expenditure. What does it mean? It means that today the offering must integrate the product and the service. And for the companies, this is really important, because basically those companies, they will make more margin with the services rather than with the product. Because again, the final customer doesn't want to own the equipment, want to rent, but we need to use as an experience and then be able to, if I can say that, to be able to access to the outcome of the equipment, to do, for example, predictive maintenance activities. The fifth one is the enterprise risk planning. So to be able to manage business risk, to adapt and respond to any internal or external opportunity or demand disruption or threat. And the last one, which is also really key. It's no more kind of marketing word because we talk about circular innovation. For a company to become a more sustainable and more responsible manufacturing business while driving the company growth. And today, why I say that this is no longer a marketing word, because it's becoming kind of critical and mandatory. If those companies want to grow and want to do business with other end user customers, of course, and get access to kind of subsidies from the state. If you can go to next, please, Glenn. Thank you. So just to give you, for example, based on those industry trends, we can associate the market trends with kind of initiatives that some companies developed. The first one is to improve the collaboration between all the stakeholders, so between the teams, breaking silos and make the collaboration real, in real time. Then focus on innovation to address new customers, new markets, new business, and of course, gain competitive advantage. Then deliver the customization for the clients willing to switch from what we call ETO, so engineering to order, to CTO, configure to order process through configuration management. And the last one, new business model definition, where people are looking for a better omni-channel experience. So omni-channel experience, what does it mean? It means that you stay connected with whatever devices, computers, mobile phones, iPads, so basically tablets, from any place. If you can go to next, please. Thank you. Continue. Yes, very good. So this slide is very interesting because you can see that here, this is from silo applications with a static view. What does it mean? Over, let's say, the last 2 decades, many companies have adopted modeling and simulation applications for mechanical, electrical, manufacturing, whatever disciplines, okay? But finally, all these applications have evolved independently. The CAD applications embed their own 3D modeling capabilities. They have their own user interface, their own data model and security mechanism. And this is the same thing for simulation with the CAE, okay? And same thing for manufacturing, same thing for services. And the only way you could exchange information between the systems is by saving a file in one system and importing the file into the other system. So basically, these silo applications make you check out all the time. You have to do some data conversions and it complicates data management. So this is why we say this is really silo applications view and static view that many of our customers are still working on that way. So if you can go to next, the switch is to move to the 3D, thank you, Glenn, to the 3D Experience platform with a dynamic view. Because the platform that basically Glenn showed you provides you with a single geometric modeler, a single user interface data model, and security model. Okay, so basically, based on your role, you work on a unique environment. The model, what does it mean? The modeling, simulation, and services applications operate on the platform, and all the information that can be exchanged without the need to export and translate files. With the platform, teams work with a unique data referential from engineering to decommissioning, if we talk about plants or installation, or from engineering to after sales, if we talk about equipment. It means that in this digital environment, every time a change is made, this is visible in real time across all applications to every user. Of course, this is based on the user roles and the user rights that we would provide as administrators to the users. So basically, it eliminates reworks and we have a gain in productivity. If you can go to next slide. Thank you. So you understood the 3D Experience platform enables the change for innovation. What does it mean? We have a lot of customers, they have a lot of projects, but basically they don't really know where they could start because they have a lot of projects in mind. So in this table, we can read the processes or the way of working present, which is the as is on the left, and the future, the to be processes leading to a business change or a business transformation. Each line can be considered as an initiative. Take as an example the second one, moving from the silo-based information to the collaborative sharing, and therefore gain access to the data in real time with a seamless collaboration, or the transition to a full project management capabilities with dashboarding, metrics, follow-up requirements, and issue management. This is part of what Glenn showed you in his little demonstration. And if I can take a last one, you see the last one is a one-off, because I remember 15 years ago, we started to work, let's say, on a project A. We finished the project A, then we switched to the project B. But today, this is no longer the case, because you start a project A and in parallel, you will start a project B. The thing is that you will work with the same team, so you need to allocate resources. So this is why the target here is really to avoid to every time start from scratch and to use knowledgeware to work with templates that we define with the 3D Experience platform. So that's why, of course, we know that every project is different, but we can work with some similar structure to kick off projects. So this is why it's written from one-off to standardization and modularization. If you can go to the next, Glenn, please. Thank you. So we know that you have a legacy, okay? And this is why in Dassault system, we put in place a strategy that this is called Power BI, but we don't care about the name, a strategy that leverages different technologies to connect basically your legacy users and data to the 3D Experience business platform. So thanks to that, we have a digital continuity that is natively offered to Dassault system applications and that are running onto the 3D Experience platform that is now also accessible from any file-based CAD systems. So here, for example, we can talk about SolidWorks because we know that many of our customers are working with SolidWorks for pure mechanical designs, or Kit 5 to name Dassault system ones, but also some other CAD systems from other companies where basically we define very specific foundation schema and services. And thanks to these Power BI capabilities, the data that are coming from the file-based CAD system are translated into 3D Experience data model that are consumed in the platform. So basically, we are making reference to those data. And you will see that right after with Glenn's demonstration with SolidWorks data that are consumed in the 3D Experience platform. And by the way, Glenn, this is your turn, please.
Thank you, John. So, you know, as he was just going through and telling you about how this data model works, you know, while it's true that the 3D experience has one data model throughout, you know, meaning when you're designing your parts and the same parameters and data is available in simulation. So to talk about how we bring legacy software in, the data model is brought in a way that it doesn't just convert it. So you can convert it. You can bring that data in and convert it to a 3D experience file, but you can also load it through the Power BI. And when you do that, not only can you do what we're about to do, which is we're going to do a change action, so something kind of simple, but think about it like this, is that you can bring in a SolidWorks part and you can do 3D annotations on it. You could bring a SolidWorks part in and you could do simulation on it, or you could use it in manufacturing, or even, do a machining. So, and if the part needs to be modified, it gets opened back up in SolidWorks, modified and brought back in. And so this way, you're not making copies and copies and copies. This significantly helps your data management. So as we go through, we can see SolidWorks and the 3D Experience platform is what we're going to do. This can be done with CATIA and Inventor too. Equipment and lifecycle management. And then you can create items and creation with the EBOM as well. So you can use a SolidWorks assembly to create an EBOM and an MBOM as well. It can be done. But we're going to use some of the more simpler methods here and just do a change action. And some of the benefits to this is quick access to the data and the collaboration, security. Your data management is going to be done. You're going to change your data in SolidWorks, and you have a single source of information. You're not getting mixed up and making copies.
Glenn, I wanted to add one more benefit that I always forget to mention, and that is we're helping clients get free from Excel spreadsheet hell when it comes to managing the project. That's a key benefit that I hear from our clients. So get away, Glenn.
Yeah, and that's right. I mean, you're not using, you're using the single source of truth, which is everything's going to be in the platform and it's maintained in there. So everything's traceable and trackable, and you don't have to worry about getting lost on a spreadsheet or maybe entering something wrong, entering the data wrong. So in this video, we're going to go through and show you we're in SolidWorks here, and we're about to load this assembly to the 3D Experience platform. So when we do, the way that this is done is it loads the original SolidWorks part, and it makes what you would call a copy, but it's not, we're a 3D Experience component that we can then use. And so it's not an editable component. You have to edit it in SolidWorks, but this is how it's done, and it works really smooth. I've done this. I have another video that we do annotations on, but in this case, we're just going to do a change action. So the change action here, somebody's going to find, they're reviewing the part. They find they don't like a radius that's on there. Or actually, this is being sent first. And so if it's set up correctly, you get your email that you have a component in there somebody sent you to review, or you could check it in your tasks. And once the component's in here, this component can be measured, it can be marked, and it can be annotated. So a reviewer can literally put tags on the part and explain to somebody, what needs to be changed. If you had an interference, in this case, there was a radius that had an interference, and they want it changed. So they're going to send the notes back with it. So the SolidWorks engineer knows just what to do. And we'll come back here in SolidWorks. Since that part was released, now you're going to have to do a reserve and reserve it. So it gets reserved, and to do so, it's going to create a revision, so you can put the notes in as to why you're making that revision. And set the maturity. Now the designer can come in and make the change. Edit those radiuses. Resave the part. And here you could freeze the part if you like. Show you freezing it. So the part's now frozen and can go back up to the reviewer. Now the reviewer is going to look at that change action, make sure this stuff was done correctly. And then can move the part forward. This makes change actions traceable and really easy to see who did what and why it was done. So now the reviewer is finding that, oh, we got another problem here. We changed that radius. We're going to have to match the other part, the other component. So the same process gets done again. And again, this could go back and forth. Usually this is done pre-released, but even after it's released, it can be done. It just revisions the part. And, depending on how you have the rules built, it should auto number it for you. And so now the designer is making the changes on the new part and going to save those back to the 3D Experience platform. So there's really a lot of apps in here, a lot of applications that this can be used. There's no limit. We could talk about it all day about the different apps that we could use in manufacturing or factory flow simulation. So the SolidWorks models don't have to be copied out and then converted. You're connected right to it. And again, this can be done with AutoCAD Inventor. This can be done with CATIA V5, as well as others, NX and others. So I encourage you to check it out. I do have more videos online about that. And at that, I'm going to hand it back over to John.
Thank you, Glenn. And now we can talk about a very specific solution that is called digital equipment continuity. So in fact, and this is somehow this is what you have shown us. The 3D Experience platform ensures the digital continuity from one discipline to another one with a specific life cycle and so on, but also the management, of course, of the change, the configuration management, the project requirements across all disciplines. So basically design, simulation. And this also represents the model base. So for engineering, it's more about the multidiscipline engineering. For the simulation, the model-based optimization, the manufacturing, the workflow processes definition and simulation that we are going to put in place to validate the different steps, and the services for the after sales, the assets that we're gonna monitor. Can go to next. So this is really, thank you. This is really interesting because to see that finally we provide a single structure so here basically we talk about XBOM, but based on disciplines, people will call this structure differently. For example, the mechanical designer is gonna call it MCAD structure, the electronic designer ECAD structure, the lead engineer, the product structure that we all know. The software engineer, the software structure, and again, several naming for the same structure, because at the end of the day, we talk about the same structure, but based on the people's role, they will have a different naming. If you can go to next. Thank you. And when we go to the project management, so here, this is really key because I work with EPC companies and so on, but in fact, this is related to all the projects. Project that is pretty well executed is key to deliver on time, on budget, on target, but also be able to be awarded for the next one, for the next contracts, for the next bid. So here, to make it simple, we define two main phases, the project setup and the project execution. So the project setup, we will create a plan. We will assign members, a team to this project. We will create milestones and gates. Also the creation of tasks and potentially manage issues with a life cycle that we'll put in place. And for that, this is for sure because at the end of the day, project management is issue management. And the next phase, that is project execution, that will be rollout. If you can go to next slide. And of course, this is the project execution is going to be managed with a flexible change management models. So based on the complexity that you would like to put it in place, it could be a standalone change action or fast change order or more formal process like change request, change order, change action, all change processes with a very specific defined life cycle. So it's not, the target is not to put in place a complex process, but this is really to make sure that somehow we have kind of traceability within our change management model. We are compliant with regulations, and in case of audits, we are able to manage and to respond to our auditors. If you can go to next, please. Thank you. So when Kevin introduced Dassault system, he said that we work within 11 industries, and in fact, what we try to do per industry is to put in place a very specific data model. Because when you design an aircraft, when you design an automotive, or when you design a nuclear power plant, we don't talk about the same processes. Sorry, and we don't talk about the same data model that we are going to put in place. So here, as you can see, at the bottom, you have, of course, the industry innovation and the business innovation layers. The left parts will refer to the engineering item that is really at the core. So basically, the 3D Excellence platform will provide a reference structure of my engineering item that is going to represent the physical as design view of the end product, containing the assemblies, the sub-assembly, sorry. On the right part, the manufacturing item that is also at the core, and here it will be used to define the assemblies, manufactured parts and by parts, reflecting the manufacturing process decomposition. You can also see at the top, so this is related to the openness of the 3D Excellence platform. This is, what we showed with SolidWorks, for instance. And here we can also see, of course, the openness to the CAD data, but also the openness to the ERP with the integration of the ERP. So here it will be a data-driven integration with a clear definition of business processes, phases in the 3D Excellence platform and the ERP system. The data synchronization driven by object maturity, status, and so on. And of course, the business processes integration driven via interfaces requiring change of data control between the ERP and the platform. Okay. And also another type of integration. So this is why Glenn and Kevin mentioned that we do much more than PLM business, is also the openness to the manufacturing operation management to coordinate and to synchronize people, process, equipment, tooling, and materials on a global scale at the factory side. So basically, all disciplines, business processes are integrated within a unique platform with no data duplications. Sorry. Kevin, if you want to add anything.
The key ideas I did want to share was that this approach of the platform allows a company to start off small and scale. So when we're talking about the solution, we're not making you get everything at once. but rather we get successful implementation in, for example, the CAD group. So we have all the CAD files. We have successful implementation of the project management. So you can get out of that Excel spreadsheet. It gets updated in real time as each CAD engineer finishes their work. We have the ability to connect to other parts of the organization. So now everybody's looking at the same place for the most up-to-date information. And so as we work with our clients that are using SolidWorks and CATIA and whatever other CAD files are going to work, this platform is open and it's scalable, and you can get started in a very rapid way. And we're going to talk about that. We go to the next slide on the cloud, but we're helping a lot of businesses right now because of COVID work from anywhere because of this solution. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Kevin. And as you said, basically, today we are offering two types of infrastructure, the on-premise and of course the cloud infrastructure, which is the right solution for many companies because in terms of resources, cloud requires a minimum hardware to connect to the overall infrastructure. The internet speed, there is no internet connection requirements. You connect basically to the closest data center. Then in terms of productivity, you access to data linked to shared space. This is what Glenn showed, such as 3D Drive, Dropbox, Google Drive, accessible from the 3D Expanse platform. And then in terms of collaboration, you collaborate, you manage your project, planning, tasks, and issues. You are able to share your ideas, to join some conversation, to ask the question, connect to the right team to support you with the communities that you belong to. So basically, cloud is very good because you are up to speed within, let's say, an hour. If you can go to next. And this is basically what we wanted to summarize here in terms of values. So here we are more talking, of course, about the software as a service. But in terms of values, we have very fast installation and deployment. And again, it allows a delivery within a few hours and limit the customer task to reach client management. That is sometimes a little bit heavy. It supports the service level for all our data centers. It contributes, of course, to the cybersecurity. And also, as customer, you can get support and you can get access to GA, general availability, the functional delivery, the hot fixes, and all security patches deployment to keep the platform always up to date. So basically, your IT management becomes very, very limited. And this is written at the bottom of the slide. The total cost of ownership is really low. If you can go to next. Thank you. So as takeaway, because we are almost at the top of the hour. So to summarize, the 3D Expanse platform allows all the users to get connected from anywhere, from any place and at any time, with a full collaboration between all stakeholders of a given project, the ability to react fast to bid and manage customer proposals. Also, you have the ability to make decisions through real-time business dashboarding, as we saw. And finally, it ensures a digital continuity from engineering to after sales for an equipment, or again, from engineering to decommissioning for an installation or a factory. All right, I think we are done. If we can take a couple of questions. We have still a little bit of time.
Sure. Pranat, could you
Yes. So
check
thank
if the
you. Yes, yes, sure. Am I audible?
Yes.
yes.
Yes. So thank you, Kevin, Glenn, and John. That was an interesting session. So we are open now for any questions. So if any participants have any questions, you can type in the comment box. Yeah. So we have received a few questions. So okay. So the first question is for the cloud architecture, where is the server located?
Okay, if you want, I can take the first one. So again, our cloud strategy in that system is very clear. The target is really to provide an optimized portfolio of industry solution, and this is what we saw with the solution called digital equipment continuity as a software as a service with a very good performance. And this is why, to make sure that cloud is up and running and ready to use and always available, we do have data centers in the US, in the East Coast and the West Coast, with almost 100% of availability of the online services. I hope that it answers to the question.
Yes, I think so. So should we move on to the second question? So the second question is, would you recommend to start with engineering or collaboration project? And what about my legacy?
Jean, could I handle that one?
Sure, my guest.
Actually, it would depend on your requirements, the project that you have, and really the type of legacy data. We'd have to look at a couple of strategies. We would definitely want to build or strengthen your data backbone to make sure you can collaborate with all the unique data and that referential data. And then in parallel with that, we could address some engineering disciplines and working with the Dassault and the Vias team, we can work on a roadmap that makes sense for you as a customer.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes. So I can see Tony, you've raised your hand. So we'll just take one question and then we'll come to you, Tony. So the third question is, do you see in all industries the supply chain collaboration challenge?
Glenn, you want I take it or do you want to take it?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, in all the industries that we see, collaboration is really something that's been an issue, and some of the reasons why these applications have such good traction because you can do everything in one place, right? So, and it's really easy to collaborate with other customers that have the 3D experience. Even if they don't, you can still, if a customer doesn't have the 3D experience, you can still give them access to it, and it's pretty easy. So I think it solves a lot of challenges as far as collaboration goes, because the legacy data is accessible and can come into the platform pretty easily. And the nice thing is on the 3D Experience platform, for example, if you're working with people with CATIA, you can save older versions of CATIA back, which you could never do before. So collaboration becomes a lot easier with the 3D Experience platform, and I hope that answers that question.
And if I can add something, is that the supply chain management, we are really working on that in Dassault system. because it's true that when we talk about aerospace defense or automotive collaboration between the OEM and tiers, it's pretty simple because let's say that the structure has been defined. But when we talk about some other industries like let's say marine offshore or energy, everything is disintegrated. And when comes this collaboration, then we need to answer to several questions like what about the formats that I need to deliver to the OEM or the EPC company or CD operators, and what about the IP? How can I make sure that my IP is protected? So this is, back to ecosystem network integration that more and more companies are working on, and we are working together with those companies because this is pretty important for all the ecosystem to make sure that we ensure this productivity and we are able to deliver projects.
Okay. Thank you so much. So yes, one of our participants, Tony. So are you available? Now you had raised your hand, so if you have any question, you can ask right now.
Yeah, I think Tony, you need to unmute
Yeah,
yourself if you're there.
so we can go ahead with the fourth question we have received. Can I design or simulate in the platform, or do I need to use several softwares?
Could I answer that if I could? And if anybody has anything to add? Yeah, you can design and simulate in the platform. In fact, so if you're using the 3D experience to design, and all your attributes and things are available in Simulia. So for example, it's all stays in one tree and your finite element model gets built right in to the tree. So even if you take legacy data and want to simulate it on the platform, you can. So you could bring in a SolidWorks part and or assembly and run it in Simulia on the platform directly. So it's pretty versatile and you can do a lot.
That's
I was
great.
just
That's
going to
great.
add to that.
Thank you so much.
This is Kevin. I just
Yeah.
wanted to add to that question and answer in that we find many of our clients are moving through their existing tools, and as they move to the platform, if there's a more powerful, robust tool available, it adds capabilities to what they already have. So you're going to have the best of both worlds, and the platform leverages your legacy data, but it allows it to be accessible by more people within the organization. And that was all I had for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So if there are no further questions, we can conclude the session.
Good.
So
Thanks a
great.
lot.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank everybody for coming.
So thank you so much to our speakers, Kevin, John, and Glenn, for sharing your knowledge with us. It was a really insightful session. And thank you all for joining us today for this webinar. You can get in touch with us for any further queries. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you
everyone.
all. Thank you.